This is a get started video with a practical application. And when you open Stock Master Chartist, Option Master Chartist, the first thing you want to do is you want to populate your watch lists. And the way you do that is pretty simple. You go down to the pencil icon here on the left, and that opens up the Windows Notepad. And you have to have made up lists of stock symbols beforehand, but they're simple text files, and you just place the symbols one line after another. And then you can select all, copy and paste, or you can select a portion, and you just we'll just select a portion here. You copy them, and then you go to a watch list and you just paste them in, and then you save and exit. So when you open that watch list, that's going to show the symbols that you had just saved. But you can have any number of watch lists. They're just text files, and you open them with this pencil icon here. But that's a necessary first step, and after a while you get to organize your stock symbol watch lists in just dozens of different manners by industry group or whatever. So I've already loaded my core list, which is probably 130 different symbols. And you just click on the symbol, and you get a chart in this is called the market location page. And we're not even going to focus on this page because there's just too much to cover in a really short video. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to one of our trading charts, and we'll use this as our gateway to making this a practical tutorial. So this is the SEO trading signals chart, and SEO means simple, easy, and objective. And this symbol is this is AAL, American Airlines, and we use this chart as an entry to additional charts, or just to do an initial evaluation of whether this stock is in a position where we would want to buy it or sell it. And if we're looking for long entries, we want to look for a stock that goes from the bottom left to the upper right. That means it's in an uptrend. And there's two indicators on the chart itself. The top one is the CCI, Commodity Channel Index. And when we see the red squares, it's above 100, and when we see the green squares, it's minus 100 or less. And for long trades, we want to be in a position where ideally it moves from a green square, meaning it's oversold on the CCI, and then pops above the zero line in conjunction with a move of the buy-sell oscillator from the green buy zone to out of the green buy zone. Now these channel lines, this is a Keltner channel, and I'm not going to really explain specifically what the Keltner channel is. I think I looked that up on stock charts, but I prefer it to Bollinger Bands because I think it's easier to interpret. Now the other quick see indicators you have here are these, I'll call them traffic lights on the left hand side. One is OBV, which is on balance volume. The other is ROC, that's rate of change. And what each of these two indicators do is it goes back over the last few months and determines whether the stock is under accumulation or distribution, is in an advancing mode or a declining mode. And the traffic lights range from dark green to light green, and we'll flip through another chart to amber or orange to red. But if you get 3 greens, then you're in a position to go. The bottom one here is PTI, that's permission to trade, and that uses some shorter term momentum indicators to give us an indication that we're heading in the right direction. And the top panel here, the left arrows and the right arrows and the different watch list radio buttons enable us to scroll through our different chart lists so that we can rapidly evaluate every chart in our list if we want to. Here's an example. This is ABX. We have on balance volume is in a negative mode, rate of change positive, and permission to trade is mildly bearish. So even though we have the buy-sell oscillator coming out of the buy zone and the CCI coming up from below zero but not quite minus 100, it's not as attractive as, say, the AAL, the first one we looked at, was, even though it's in an uptrend. Now, what we can do from here is we can move to 3 other charts. This is the 10-minute chart. The DOT is the red dot trading chart, and the PJO is the projection oscillator chart. Now you can also evaluate different calls and puts. If you're familiar with Chuck Hughes methods, then these would, the call and the put buttons would relate specifically to that. I'll cover those in a later video, but just want you to know they're here. So let's shoot over to the projection oscillator chart. And we have ABX loaded here, and this will open a projection oscillator chart with ABX. And the chart appears in Heikin-Ashi format. You can change that to candlesticks, just black, white, or just black bars, or the Elder impulse system, depending on your preference. And the indicators we have here are, this is an unbalanced stochastic RSI, and the lines that you see are an 8-period stochastic RSI, and the red and green pattern bars are the 13-period stochastic RSI in either an overbought or oversold condition. So, like for example, over here we have toward the right-hand side of the chart, we have the 13-period in an oversold condition. We have the 8-period making a bull reversal out of an oversold condition. So ABX on this chart is in a buy position. The bottom indicator is the projection oscillator, and that is like a fast stochastic, only instead of using just the high lows, we use the linear regression of the high lows, and I think this reacts a little faster. And on the bottom here we have something that's useful called the swing score. And the swing score ranges from a -10 to a +10. And if it's greater than 0, then the numbers appear in green. Less than 0, they appear in red. And we have a positive swing score of 1, which indicates that the stock is in a position to buy. And there's a couple other things we want to show you on top. There are down and up arrows, and those arrows represent the true strength index, and they represent a change in direction of the true strength index. So when you get everything in gear, that's your best timing model. Right now we have a lot of conflicting information. We came from the red dot chart, and we saw that it wasn't an ideal situation because of the traffic lights over there. The traffic lights in the projection oscillator indicate buy-sell signals 1 time frame above and 1 time frame below. So because this is a daily chart, as you can see over here, we have the D radio button clicked. The weekly signal is a buy, and the next lower time frame, 2 hours, is also a buy. So there's a lot of evidence to suggest that ABX could be bought at this price level. Now the other chart we can get to from the SEO swing trading signals is the red dot chart, and we call this the red dot chart because of these this line of dots here. And what these dots represent is the direction of the Hull moving average. And when it's green, it's moving up, and when it's red, it's moving down. And the Hull moving average is the most responsive moving average that we've seen, and it usually proves fairly reliable. The bottom indicator panel is a histogram of the MACD, and on the daily candles it's a 534.5 MACD. And the basic rule for trading the MACD histogram is that you want to be long when the histogram is above the zero line, and short or out when the histogram is below the zero line. And we also have the TSI indicators on here also. If you don't like the MACD histogram, or if you prefer the CCI, then you can use these radio buttons to flip between the MACD and the CCI, whichever best suits your eye. And I'm just going to show you one other indicator on here, and we're going to wrap up this video, and that's the eye. Now I'm going to explain this very quickly. The blue line is a weighted moving average of the close, and the red line is an exponential moving average of the open. And this is as simple as could be. And if you see us referring to stupid in the chat room, this is the indicator we're talking about. And for ABX, we can see that stupid gave us a sell signal 4 bars ago, and that happened to be in conjunction with a TSI downtrending arrow. So once we've gathered all the evidence on ABX that even though it's in a position to buy, that the additional evidence, which is the stupid indicator and the Hull moving averages, and the fact that the MACD histogram is below the zero line, that ABX would not be a good long trade candidate at the moment. Now I know I went through this quickly, but we still went about 13 minutes. So I hope you found this useful. There'll be additional videos that will go into more detail.